Self-mastery is ongoing as potential is infinite, to know thyself in all possible possibilities. When one level is mastered, the next level begins. If you think you've made it, keep going. The question is asked, what am I capable of? The answer is everything, but to actually know is to see yourself through the process of self-discovery. Without actualization, it stays as speculation. So to get to the I am is to start with the am I. You're realizing more of your infinite potential as you explore more within. The deeper you go, the more you'll discover your capabilities. After knowing is integration, which inevitably leads embodiment. After embodiment, the cycle starts over again. What else am I capable of? Exercising your creative abilities is what expands sentience. If you know your God, then exercise your godlike abilities. This is what it means to be the example. As you're going within yourself for inspiration, you're simultaneously being an inspiration for the collective to see it's possible. And it serves as a reminder that they too have infinite potential. This process is usually experienced during high duress, where you have to look within yourself to pull more willpower to overcome the challenge. What you're actually doing is accessing your infinite energy pool and bringing it into this reality to utilize and create. When successful, the realization hits that nothing is impossible, and you're capable of anything and everything by knowing you have unlimited creative abilities. These challenges will present themselves in various ways, and the solution is always the same: go within. Realize, integrate, apply. To be of service or inspiration to yourself and others. Inspire means in spirit. The higher self is you in spirit. To wake up is to know thyself. Realize what you are. Remember your unlimited capabilities to integrate, then apply. Expand judgments into understanding. Judgments is seeing things on the surface. Understanding is seeing how it came to be. Understand means to stand under the surface and see the roots from which it stems from. This is both the observation and the one observing. Exercise compassion for the observer and the observed. What you are is the awareness of everything, so you're literally untouched and unharmed. This doesn't mean to walk around thinking you're invincible, as any thought of the self would still come from the egoic mind, but to return to being. Acceptance means unconditional love. So accept and love yourself, no matter how you feel or what you're experiencing. You can tell yourself, this is currently where I'm at, and that's okay. I know this is just a stage, and what I know now isn't what I'll know later. You're understanding yourself through the process of the experience, so there's no fast-forwarding or rewinding, but seeing yourself grow along the way as it's playing itself out. You're perfectly going through the process of transformation, so focus more on the growth rather than the pain within the growing pains. The understanding of experiences is what gives birth to wisdom, and in order to extract insights is to first be inside the experience itself. Your power always lies in your ability to choose, which also includes to not shame yourself and to choose to self-empower. Chasing for the next high will leave you empty right now. Let go of the chase and consumption as energy is being drained with nothing in return. Attention is energy, and as attention is sustained, energy is growing. If your attention is on the chase, then the chase itself will become more pronounced. If your attention is on thoughts that you don't prefer, then it will eventually manifest and become an experience. Ask yourself, what am I giving my sustained attention or energy to? By remaining in awareness, energy will just continue to grow at the source, since it's not be directed towards anything in particular. What you choose to do with your energy is in your free will, but you can't use it if your tank is always empty. Every single act is an act of creation, as energy is being used to create. Saying this is a creation of mine, which I'm directing my energy towards, and anyone hearing this is also creating this experience by directing their attention to it. We're all learning how to harness our creative powers by understanding how we're using our energy. It's turning unconscious creations into conscious ones. If you look at what you did or what you're doing throughout the day, you're using up energy to create these moments. But is it unconscious on autopilot or a conscious choice? The level of consciousness will reflect behavior. It's like if you're unconscious or asleep, then there's no sense of awareness of what it is that you're doing in the moment. But if you're attentive and observant, then you can make a conscious choice of what to do or not to do as the experience is playing itself out. Are you in the mind or in the moment? To be in the mind is to constantly be thinking, narrating or analyzing, and to be out of the mind is to be present. Thoughts are interfering with your ability to feel, so to increase sensitivity is to increase awareness. Part of the ego's function is survival mechanisms, but if it's overly active, then it's constantly scanning and analyzing for possible threats. To regain your intuition is to reduce thinking, relax, and just be present. Observe your feelings in the moment to build trust in what your feelings are telling you. Right and wrong can be reframed into balance, imbalance, or alignment, misalignment. Intuition is a natural ability when you're being your true self. If you're imbalanced and out of alignment, then you'll experience disharmony and the intuitive abilities will be muted. But if you're in balance and in alignment with your true nature, intuition will become unlocked again. To be in alignment is to return to your true nature of being conscious, as you're not an automaton, but sentient. Suffering is optional, so anything that's instinctively leading to suffering is a lesson to stop reacting and to start choosing, creating what you prefer. Every unconscious act is designed for you to look within and become more aware of these unconscious actions. Patterns are broken when you're aware you're repeating a pattern. The ego is perpetuating itself as it doesn't know anything by nature and is also afraid of what it doesn't know. So it's a feedback loop. Fear is the absence of the divine, which activates when you're not being your true self, which is operating at the ego level of consciousness. What you are is the one that's aware of the experience and the feeling, but remain completely untouched and unharmed. Any instance of the I is the character that you're aware of, thus being able to describe the experiences it's having. You felt and experienced the real you in the meditative state, then observed the ego getting startled when it reared itself back in. This is where the human experience becomes challenging. It's distinguishing the character from what you are. As awareness persists throughout all experiences, you're able to document what the EL is going through. Otherwise, there's nothing to describe. There has to be some ego active. As a total ego, death would eject you from the reality. But if there's too much ego, then it will panic because it doesn't know what it is. The one that can provide guidance is the knowingness that existed prior to the ego forming, which is what's eternal. If you want to challenge yourself, try fasting from whatever you think you need. You'll see how much power it has over you and how much power you have over it. So fast from food, the internet, human interaction, physical sensory perceptions, etc. This is a direct method of accessing more of your source energy when you're imposing your own limitations. The perception of duality is what creates the perception of separation. It's the subject-object paradigm. When you realize everything exists within your field of consciousness, the subject-object paradigm dissolves. This holds true for everyone, hence a multiverse within one universe. Each perspective will view things differently, but when zooming out, it's all one existence. So you're both individuated and connected at the same time like nodes of a network. You're unique but not special, as in better or worse, but equally a part of one entire whole. To see the bigger picture is to recognize the common denominators which connects it all together. You're experiencing one perspective, I'm experiencing another perspective, but we're both equally experiencing a perspective. Neither of us are bound to one perspective and can shift freely amongst the infinity of perspectives, which includes leaving the physical body and experiencing another. And that ability unlocks when actualizing your expansive, godlike capabilities. Anytime you feel limited, that's just another challenge to overcome to actualize your unlimited potential. Is God limited? Then neither are you. Shadow self is not necessarily just driven by fear, it is driven by separation. All shadow work really boils down to is being able to love and accept even those parts of yourself that you have pushed away consciously or subconsciously. So to integrate the shadow, it's simple. Shed some light on it. Love all parts of yourself. This complete love and acceptance of oneself is like turning on an immense light. No shadows can exist in a bright room. As for there being contradictions between surrendering and being mindful, conscious of the ego, to me, it is not contradictory. It is a dance. It is a co-creation. Like skateboarding, you push and push to get the momentum going, and then you can coast. When skating, pushing and coasting are not contradictory. They go hand in hand. The moment you accept yourself totally, the fear is released. So both work hand in hand. The reason you haven't let go of stories is because you haven't built a relationship and a knowing that the flow of life will support you if you let go. Moving with the flow of life, dropping all stories and just being, can seem very scary to the human mind. The mind is a plotter, schemer, a planner. So you can be patient with the mind and not jump into dropping all stories overnight. Slowly start dropping some stories moment by moment and see how the flow slowly supports you. As you grow your faith in the flow, then you can drop more and more. Be present rather than try, as that's putting effort. Presence is effortless. Are you trying yourself or being yourself? An actor has to try as it's performing acts, but a being is authentic as it doesn't need to try to be what it already is. To be present is to not think or pretend to be, but to actually be. Meditation cannot be induced with effort, as the meditative state is the absence of effort. So be here right now and stay here. The here and now is your present moment state of being. If you're lost, just ask yourself, where else can I be but right here, right now? There's no fast forwarding or rewinding. The present moment experience is all there is. Time is a mental construct which requires thinking to create the perception of it, but you're never anywhere else, but right here, right now. This is what it means to go with the flow, as you're essentially riding a wave and letting the natural current move you. Tend to the only moment you can tend to, which is right here, right now. There is no past or future, as they aren't actually experienced. To actualize your desire is to set your intention, forget about it, and go with the flow. The moment a thought pops up with worry or doubt, the process of creation has halted. So if you want to get to your destination with efficacy, stay present and not interrupt the process.